All right, so I am back, part two, which is where we're going to talk about the action around how to love ourselves more by caring more about how we think of ourselves than how others think of us. And I have to say, since I started doing these steps in my life, it's amazing. I mean, like, seriously, like, I just feel like I have suppressed myself or oppressed myself for so long in order to please other people because I thought that their opinion of me and their view of me mattered more than my own. And so since I have been changing that, I can't tell you. It's just so cool. I feel like this prisoner that's been freed. I truly do. And oh, it's so awesome. It totally is. Like, it's so weird how I'll have these encounters with people where I can tell that I'm caring more about their opinion of me than my opinion of myself, or I can tell that they have judged me in a way that's really not what works for me. And for me to rise above that has been so cool. I'm so weird. I'm almost like, bring it, people. Like, bring it. Like, bring me your disappointment. Bring me your criticism and all that stuff. Because it's simply an opportunity for me to actually discover and work on and play out how much I actually care more about what I think about myself now than what you do. So it's weird. It's really cool. It's great. So anyway, I want this for you too. So here's what I've been doing. So yeah, because we know that when we care more about what other people think of us than what we think of ourselves, it usually brings some sense of misery into our lives, because we are wired to be authentic. We are wired to inhabit ourselves and to live. And so yeah, so this is what I think has helped me out. So I'll give you an example because this is really rather recent. um I was having a really tough day during the holidays. Um and um and a friend of mine was supposed to go to an event with me, and and it's this and I had built this event up in my head. It's a concert, and I had built this event up in my head of like, this is going to be like my like special holiday moment for the year, because like this concert is like the one of the coolest things that I will probably do this year, which is awesome. It's a holiday concert, and again, because I'm not going to go hang out with my family, and like, this matters a lot to me. Like, this really matters a lot to me, and so I asked this really dear friend of mine, who I've gotten to be close to for the last year, if she would come with me. And she said yes, which was awesome, of course. And I was so delighted because I'm like, yay, it's just going to be a night of lots of love and lots of just real fun, and just to enjoy the holidays and just be free for a night. That sounds great. So anyway, so she couldn't make it. She told me, as I was just about to get the tickets, and it triggered for me just the whole, like, feeling sad about the holidays, and like, wow, like, it really sucks to be reminded that I don't have like family, and I don't have that, like, whatever idyllic picture that I come up with in my head about how I think my holiday should be with family, and stuff like that. So I was starting to grieve. I was feeling the loss. So I was talking to her on the phone about it, which is cool that we can have that kind of like an open relationship and stuff, which is great. Um, and and kind of it was out of, and so she, being a caring person that she is, was starting kind of listing off the things that she thought I should do during the holidays to make it better for me. And one of those things that she shared was I needed to change my religious beliefs. And that was a little kind of out there. It didn't, to me, it didn't quite apply to what I was talking about, and stuff. and so I came away from that kind of feeling uncomfortable because I was like, am I being judged on my beliefs? And so yeah, so that's kind of how, so this is kind of like how I dealt with that situation, and how I'm learning to deal with people who where I feel like my belief about myself, and my views, and stuff about what I'm doing, um, matters, less, and stuff like that. So yeah, so this is what I did. So, so how to care more about your opinion versus others. Um, when you're uncomfortable or feeling needy about someone, that's when you need to stop and pay attention. Like when I came away from that conversation, something in me just felt uncomfortable. Something in me just didn't feel right. And I was like, I need to sort that out. I need to figure that out. Like, why would her religious comment bother me? Like, I mean, it wasn't like she spent this really big time trying to change me or challenge my beliefs. She just made this one comment, and I'm like, why is that uncomfortable to me? Like there's something there more that I need to figure out and explore. So yeah. um and so that's where I went into like a series of asking myself questions to figure out what exactly was the problem. Like, what was it about her comment that bothered me? How do I disagree with her on that? How did her, the way she said it, her thoughts, her actions, her feelings around it make me feel? And that's when I went, oh, see, it's not about the comment itself. It was really more about the feeling that she had with the comment, which was this kind of desperation, kind of sense of like real concern that I'm not believing the way she is. And I was like, oh, okay. So that's kind of like that I'm like, okay, that's kind of a big issue, and stuff like that. So yeah, why am I feeling this way about what happened? Obviously I have my own religious beliefs, and and from the get-go in our friendship, we've always talked about, like, honoring, respecting, or not honoring, respecting, but I thought that from the very get-go, because she knew what I believed, that she would, just honor and respect that, because that's what I got from her from the initial reaction. And because of that, that's why I thought, okay, well, we can develop this friendship more, because this is a safe place for me to believe and be who I am. And then, of course, for her to be and believe who she is. I'm not going to judge her. I appreciate other people's religious beliefs, and stuff like that. So, because I want people to just be authentic, So, anyway, so why am I feeling, upset about what happened? I was like, well, one is, has she not been honest about, not honest, but is she starting to change her mind, about me? And stuff like that. And so that was, I was like, wow, that's yikes. And I could be completely overreacting, but that's kind of how, what my fear is, that's coming out right now, and I need to pay attention to that fear. And how does this remind me of the way my mom treated me? I'm like, well, you kidding? Like, of course. Like, nothing that I really ever did or was ever good enough for her. So, the fact that she wanted to be me, to be something that I wasn't, and how disappointed she was in me. Like, of course, like, I care so much about this friendship. I want it to work, and stuff like that. So, anyway, yeah. So then I asked myself questions to, you know, figure out her, to figure out the other person, So, was it unusual for, my friend to act the way she did? And I started to think yes and no, like, yeah, it was unusual for her to kind of say that, but I thought, there's been some other comments lately that have made me kind of wonder, is she, if maybe this is kind of something that's a bit more like serious and not just a moment, of stress for her, um yeah, was she simply having a bad day? I thought, well, maybe she was, I mean, she'd had a hard day. I mean, she had to turn down the concert, and I know she wanted to go and stuff too. And, but at the same time, she'd said, like, like she was feeling a lot more peace about not going. And I thought, well, that seems to me like, like maybe she wasn't having a bad day. Maybe there's something here that's actually really honest. She's being honest with me about how she feels and stuff. Um, do they want me to change? And I'm like, wow, well, it sounds like she really wants me to change, like, and stuff. So, yeah. And, and are they projecting, or are they right, or are they projecting, And so, of course, religious beliefs can be incredibly abstract, one can believe one thing, another can believe another. So, for me, I know that, like, what I believe right now is what I believe. And, but I thought about, like, well, what is she projecting onto me? And it's like, well, she's, according to her religious beliefs, she's got a lot of concern about, the people around her. And so she's got a lot of concern about me. And in some ways that's very loving that she cares so much. But in some ways it's like, wow, that's kind of uncomfortable that, you really think like that there's I'm in trouble for not believing what you believe, Um, and so what are they projecting onto me? It's like, I feel like, she's projecting this kind of like, you know, I don't know, but and that's why I thought, okay, this is enough for me to like have to figure some stuff out and address this with her. So, yeah, so then I asked myself questions to figure out myself in the situation then, because this is it. Like, we go from like, what's the problem? Kind of like, where are they at? And then, okay, now what do I believe? And so what do I believe in the situation? And I said, you thought, well, I wasn't talking to her about me having a religious crisis. I was talking about me having a rough holidays, And so what should happen to me is when she and I were talking was it should have just been stuck to that and not, this kind of side note of like, you need to believe in my religious belief. How do I wish they would have responded to me? And that's where I wish she would have stuck more towards like, you know, what I was going through and what I was struggling with and stuff like that, Um, am I angry, hurt about what happened? I'm like, yeah, I am actually kind of hurt, and I'm definitely uncomfortable because, like really what she said, the way it implied was that I need to change my religious beliefs. And it's like, wow, that's rough, like that's kind of, and it's a big belief difference that she was talking about. And it's like, that's kind of rough because it makes me wonder, like, do you really accept and want to be with, such close friends with someone like me if I don't believe that way, and that you feel like you have to really talk about it with me, So yeah. Um yeah, and so anyway, so when we have these moments with people, this is our time and it is our responsibility to speak up. If we're going to inhabit ourselves more and more, if we're going to love ourselves more and more, we have to be honest with people about what we're feeling. We have to speak up, we have to share, um, and stuff, because that's how we put down boundaries. That's how we we learn the truth about them and what they think, and to make sure we clarify things. That's how we make sure we have a good relationship, and that's also too how we make sure that we take care of ourselves. So, yeah. So before I reached out to my friend, I needed to make sure that I was in a place of forgiveness first. That whatever I felt hurt wise, I know it wasn't her intention to make me feel that way. Again, I'm feeling hurt because it's my feelings that I own and not, hers and stuff like that, so I really didn't want to talk about it with her until I felt at peace. Um, until I had peace about the situation, and stuff like that. And that meant that I had to make sure that, like, whatever crap that was being brought up, the grief cycle, like I talked about yesterday, um, like that was solved and in a good place, and stuff like that. Like, I was really in a place of peace about the whole thing that happened, and went, okay, all right, it did what it happened, how it happened, so now it's my time to find out what's going on, so yeah, so I approached her from a perspective that maybe, maybe I'm misread the situation, like maybe I'm, just not quite sure, but, and instead speaking very much from myself, which is really helpful and healthy, I think, to do, of course. And to share how the situation made me feel. So I told her, like, this is what your comment, how your comment made me feel. I didn't say this is how you made me feel. I said this is how your comment made me feel. And I'm assuming that and I said, did I misjudge and I misread you on this? Like, just let me know. Um, and then I assumed that, again, like, she didn't try to make me feel bad, and instead what I asked, said, yeah, is then I needed to be honest and say, so, because this is what I believe, I've got my, religious beliefs. I'm really comfortable with them and I'm really content, like, I mean, there's always room, of course, for change down the road, but this is where I'm at, um, and uh and I said, so, so just, in the future, you know what I need is, friends who, aren't going to, like, kind of push those beliefs onto me, or really challenge my beliefs, because I really am not comfortable with that. Like, I really want people who accept me for who I am now, as I am, and don't need me to be something different, and stuff like that. And then I really made sure that I told her how much I appreciated her, because I know that what she's sharing is coming from care, and stuff like that. And to also give them an out and to say, like, but if this doesn't work for you, if you really do need a friend who is on the same religious page as you, like, okay, like, just, I understand and I respect that, and I, just want to, honor that for you and stuff like that, and so it's really me to that place of, like, being able to give up the friendship if I need to, you know um and then to see how the person reacts from that, and then to kind of continue from there with the whole situation. Um, so I think that that's really how we love ourselves more, is by clarifying, when someone says something, or does something, or expects something from us that isn't really true to us. Um, and it's challenging your belief about yourself, and you're starting to think, gosh, I care more about pleasing them than I do about myself, because their opinion of me matters more than my own opinion. These are steps that we can take to help us, move through that and stuff like that, so yeah. So you have to own your own power, and know how to do that, and make mistakes along the way and stuff like that, and let it all kind of play out, and yeah, I think that this will help, hopefully, you to make better decisions in your own situation. So, and I'm telling you, like, since I started doing this, I've been able to, figure out better boundaries with certain people and go, okay, well, like, then this is, kind of like where our friendship needs to be, or this is where what I need from this person, and then this is what I need from new people, and I need to pursue more people to get those, kind of relationships that I need. It's been incredibly empowering. It really has. Like, I really feel like now, because I care more about my opinion of myself than others, that I can take care of myself and go, well, what April, like little April, what do you need? I need this. Okay, then this is what we're going to do. Are you feeling good? I'm feeling great. Thank you for doing that. Okay, awesome. It's honoring yourself and stuff. So it's amazing. It really is. And so I hope that you get to have the same. You keep working towards your same experience of that. Share your stories and thoughts about all of this too. And I will talk to you later.